All right, all right, all right, all right. What's happening? What's happening, Steeler Nation and all those alike? Because I know not only do Steeler fans watch, I found out that other people watch the show as well. So thank you for that. But of course, I'm going to talk to my Steeler family first. Welcome, 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 man, to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, and if you guys can confirm that you hear me and everything is good to go, you should be hearing me. But let's just make sure, because sometimes there's technical difficulties, which is actually the reason why I'm a little bit late tonight. My own fault tonight. My own fault tonight. I forgot that, I very rarely use my credit cards, but I have a credit card that I have Blog Talk charging every month. And my credit card, that particular one expired in May. Forgot all about it. So when I went to fire up the Blog Talk tonight, guess what? It told me the payment didn't go through. I had to quickly activate this new card. With technology, now you can activate cards through the app. And now we're in business. So apologies for that, guys, but you know how it goes. All right, you guys are saying it's good. All right. Welcome, man, like I said, to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. Hopefully for you guys who want to call in tonight, hopefully Blog Talk is cooperating. We'll find out very quick. So if you're listening to the queue right now to the show, if you decide to call in, let me know whether or not you can still hear me when you get on the Blog Talk side. All right, let me say that again. If you decide that you're going to call in tonight, feel free to dial in whenever you're ready. But let me know that you can actually hear me on the Blog Talk side, because that's what was happening to us last week. You couldn't hear me, and it just didn't work out. But welcome, guys. Let's really quickly go through the introductions here. Really quick. Sonny Rothmiller. Lanisha. Hello, the lovely Lanisha in the building, man. Lady listener, take care of her, fellas. Take care of all of them, fellas. Y'all know what to do. Treat them like royalty. Our lovely ladies of Steeler Nation. Who is this? Somebody's at my doorbell. Hold on, guys. Look at my security camera here. Y'all seeing all kinds of stuff happening in real time. Oh, okay. One of my friends, one of my son's neighborhood friends is at the door here at 8:15. It ain't gonna be light much longer, so whatever. But anyway, guys, let's keep it going. No 412, Wide Diggy in the building as well. Leonard Langley, what's up, Pop in the building. My good brother Kenyon in the building. Daredevil, Malvo. Who else? Rob Dilla 075. Leon Harris Jr. My man Antoine Hill as well. And that's about all we have right now in terms of names. Again, guys, quick topics tonight, man. We're still dealing with the lull period, if you will. We still got a little bit of time to kill until training camp. So I don't have a lot of in-depth things to talk about. I have 3 quick topics that I will reflect on. And then after that, I'll come right to the chat or answer phone calls if you guys wish to do that. So first up on the queue, man, let's talk about Antonio Brown really quick. Didn't get a chance to watch the entire episode, but it looks like he appeared on the pivot once again. I'm definitely going to watch it. In case you guys don't know, I love interviews, and I'll just give you some backstory on that. I really love interviews. I love documentaries because I like to learn the real person, if you will. Whether that's an athlete, an actor, a musician, whatever the case may be, anybody that I may admire from afar. Like I said, if I'm a fan of, a certain artist or an actor or what have you, I like watching interviews and I love watching documentaries because I feel like that's when you can get the piece of the real person, if you will, right? And the reason why I like to do that, this is an obvious answer, but I just like to know the real person and not the character that they create. And sometimes not even purposely. Sometimes you become a character. Unfortunately, some people become caricatures of themselves. So I'm always going to watch good interviews like that. I love The Pivot. There's a couple other podcasts that I watch frequently. I watch the Joe Budden podcast and a couple others. But I say all that to say, man, as crazy as Antonio Brown has been here since football, when you listen to him talk, what I'm learning from him is a guy, he does crazy things, but I'm not so sure that he's crazy. It's two totally different things. Another example I would give you, most people are familiar with Kanye West. A lot of people would say Kanye West is stupid, he's crazy. He's not a stupid person. He just does crazy things. It's a difference. I feel like that about Antonio Brown. The more I listen to him, certain parts of his interviews, when he interviews with people, he has intelligence. He has the wherewithal. He's not a dummy. He's not one of those, he knows not what he does. Nah. They know what they're doing, right? Because he's able to articulate things in a manner to where you're like, okay, so you're not a dummy. So anyway, the highlight of what I wanted to talk about, the only little piece that I saw that's already circling on the internet is the clip went up of him saying that he basically credits Ben Roethlisberger for him starting in the Steelers offense. It's been, we've all known this for years. Antonio Brown and Bruce Arians did not have the best relationship. That's why it's interesting that it actually worked out to some degree. Well, we got a Super Bowl ring, but it's interesting that it worked out in Tampa. Everybody knows that he just didn't have the best relationship with him early on in his career in Pittsburgh, right? So that's the clip that's circulating, as Antonio Brown says he credits Ben Roethlisberger for the reason why he became a starter. He's saying that Roethlisberger went to Bruce Arians and said, hey, I need this guy at the X. I need him to run these plays. And the way he tells it, the next was history. So my question is to you guys, how true do you think that is? Also, do you guys judge players, and let's just talk about Steelers players, do you judge them based off of who they are off the field and completely forget what they were to the team? Or can you compartmentalize who they were on the field versus who they are off the field and beyond Pittsburgh? And I'm just going to give you my answer. Listen, Antonio Brown, when he was on the field, I challenge anybody to find me a better receiver, not just, in the Pittsburgh history, but at one time of his career. Y'all remember that run he had? He was the best receiver in football. He was arguably one of the best receivers ever when you just think about that 3 to 5 year run that he had. And I'm talking about the run. Y'all know what I'm talking about, when he had the consecutive catches and 1,000 yards. And that doesn't go unnoticed by me just because he became a complete fool off the field and how he got himself out of Pittsburgh and, some of the outbursts and some of the wild things he's even doing now. Like, oh my God, some of the comments that he said about Caitlin Clark, some real foul stuff. It's the difference to not necessarily care from somebody and being vulgar. Like, he really went in on some stuff about her that I won't repeat here. Hold on, guys. Time out. Got to interrupt myself. We have a donation. Thank you to the good brother Luis D. Appreciate that. Round of applause. Luis says, hey, bro, Sim, let's say Aiyuk gets traded to the Commanders and one of the wide receivers becomes available. You think Terry McLaurin would be a good fit for the Steelers? Let's answer that real quick and then we'll get back to what I was saying. I'll say this. Can I be fair? It's hard for me to say who is and who isn't a fit because we have a new offensive coordinator, right? Some people might say, well, Sim, why does that matter? Oh, that absolutely matters. Because you got to understand, when you hear people say, is someone a good fit? Not everyone is saying that from the perspective that I view it. Some people who ask that question are talking about literally being a good fit, like fitting into the system, would they work? Other people, when they say fit, they're just talking about, could he be a Steeler or, and I don't do it like that. I'm always thinking about how a player fits, their skill set, how they might be utilized in a Steelers system. We are about to see a brand new Steelers system with Arthur Smith. So I can't outright say he would be a good fit, but I would say based off of his talent, yeah. I think you could probably put McLaurin at the Z spot, or even move him to perhaps the X spot. He kind of was the man and became the man in Washington for a few years there, and allowed George to stay at the Z. Yeah. But again, it all depends on how Arthur Smith's offense builds around that. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to taking a guy like that. Now, is he a gigantic name or a splash signing? I would say he's kind of in the middle, meaning he's worth taking a shot. Okay, he may not be, he's not a Justin Jefferson type guy right now, but Terry McLaurin is absolutely a productive wide receiver. You know what I mean? It's somebody who could go somewhere else and thrive. Yeah, I would take a guy like Terry with his speed. And again, what he's been able to do in the NFL. He's had some moments, but I can't necessarily say, would he or wouldn't he fit? Not sure yet, because I need to see what this offense is all about. But let me get back to Antonio Brown. And I'm right there with you, Kenyon. Listen, compartmentalizing who a player was on the field versus who they are off the field. That's just how I view it. Antonio Brown largely may have been one of the best receivers that some people have ever seen. Yeah, I'm saying that. Some people in that era may have been one of the best you've ever seen as far as everything that he had in his toolbox. The hands, the route running, the separation. A guy that wasn't a blazer, but you never saw him get caught from behind. A guy that when he got in open field, a lot of times it was 6 of them things. Extreme punt returner. I mean, first touchdown in the NFL is on a kick return. Granted, it was a reverse, but he still did it. He was outstanding. Point blank, period. On every aspect of what he was capable of doing on the field, especially being a 6th round pick, outstanding. And I will never turn a blind eye to that. Nor will I do that with Le'Veon Bell. Y'all know how I feel about Le'Veon Bell. And for some of y'all that don't believe Le'Veon Bell was him, go back and watch. Just go back and watch some Steelers games. Or the best of Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell was incredible. A guy that size, able to move that nimble and that shifty, and the way he cut. And is coming to almost a complete stop, then bursting through this dude, he was something different. And I don't penalize them for leaving in terms of me giving them what I feel about them as players. I can't penalize them for that. Don't like the way they left, but I can't take away that piece of Steeler history. They were incredible. So yeah, I think it's true. I think there's some truth to that Ben had to vouch for him, because again, the stories have come out many times over the years that Arians and AB just didn't have a great relationship. So, but like I said, man, if you listen to him, and again, I haven't listened to the whole interview, but I've listened to other interviews of Antonio Brown. This guy's not stupid. Bugging out, acting crazy, yes, but he's not dumb. So, those are just my thoughts there. What are some of you guys saying? Somebody said Antonio Brown is my GOAT. That's coming from Sonny. Didn't really see anyone else comment on it. Oh, here we go. No, I don't really see nobody else comment on it. But those are just my quick thoughts on that. So let's move on to the next topic. Let's talk about, speaking of wide receiver, great segue. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it was news today, and maybe it was news because he's a former second-round pick from the Jets. But it seemed like, it made its rounds, that the Steelers intend to waive Denzel Mims. Now, I saw quite a few people on social media that are saying that this confirms to them that the Steelers will be trading for Brandon Aiyuk. So here's the question I have for you good people. Why is the waiving of Denzel Mims the domino to fall? I get it's an easy connection to make. Oh, he's a receiver. They're going to need another receiver spot, I guess. And again, this is not a disrespect to Denzel Mims. And hey, if the Steelers end up trading for Aiyuk, I would be ecstatic. But I'm just giving you guys my opinion based off of what I see. I don't think releasing him and opening up that particular roster spot, there's actually other receivers that could have been waived. I don't think waiving him is the bona fide, surefire sign that now they're going to trade for Brandon Aiyuk. No, I don't believe that. Number two, I'm not coming off of my claims months ago. Well, I'll say, let's be fair and just say within the last month. I've been repeatedly saying that if you look at the market and you look at what these receivers have been receiving as far as compensation, Pittsburgh Steelers ain't paying that type of money. No way. You look around at the receivers that have gotten these contracts this offseason and some of these guys who just got extended. I do not see them paying that type of money for Brandon Aiyuk. I don't see it. You talk about upwards of 25 to 30 million per. I just don't see it. Because getting traded, obviously he's not re-signing right now with the Niners because there's contract negotiations happening. So obviously a trade, there's going to be some type of, listen, I only want to do this if I can sign and trade. Now, again, both parties have to play, but remember, we're hearing from the 49ers is they don't want to trade him. They want to get him back. But let's just say the 49ers are open to it. The player can't stop himself from being traded unless you have a no trade clause, which I don't think he has. But I just don't see the Pittsburgh Steelers paying that type of money. I'm sorry. I don't see it. But I'm just not understanding why Denzel Mims is the one that makes people perk up and say, oh, they must be going after Brandon Aiyuk. I don't see it that way, but listen, whatever happens, happens. I will be the first one coming on here saying, hey, I didn't see that coming, and would be ecstatic by it. But until then, it's just another roster spot. Maybe they just felt like, Aiyuk, Mims just wasn't going to pan out, and they're ready to move on sooner than later. Maybe they do want to get another receiver type or open up another spot for somebody to come in training camp. But I guess they didn't feel the need to take Mims in the training camp, and that just is what it is. Why Diggy says it opens up a roster spot, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's for Aiyuk. Exactly, Diggy. That's where I'm at with it. But again, you know how we are in Steeler Nation. Everything that happened, we like this. We swear it's about to go down. That's just Steeler Nation, man. And again, maybe that's all fan bases, but I only know my fellow Steeler Nation members. That's how we get. Every little thing, we try to piece everything together, and we want every player to come here, and don't get y'all hopes up for that, man. I'm just trying to be honest with you guys. Yeah. But we'll see. I love being in the business of being surprised. So I will be ecstatic. All right, my last topic, man. Final topic of the night. Let me check the phone queue. See if anybody's up in there. Let's see. Nobody's in the phone queue, so We'll open that up here in a moment. And again, if you guys want to call in and give your thoughts, call in. But let's make sure that Blog Talk Radio is working. So my last and final topic, man, that I have that's on my docket is right there in the title. We were made aware a day or two ago that the Pittsburgh Steelers, your Pittsburgh Steelers, not your father's Pittsburgh Steelers, your Pittsburgh Steelers, will be appearing on Hard Knocks for the first time in Steelers history. Now, they're not going to be the sole focal point. They're actually doing another one of their in-season Hard Knocks. So, of course, you're going to have the one that's through training camp, through like week 1. And then they have a in-season. I think they did an in-season Hard Knocks last year. The Dolphins, I believe it was. It was kind of cool. I saw a couple of episodes, didn't watch them all, but it was kind of cool. The Pittsburgh Steelers will be in the in-season Hard Knocks along with the rest of the AFC North. And that is interesting. That is interesting because that might be a good watch. So we'll be able to get a look at the Bengals, the Browns, the Ravens, and the Steelers, from a perspective that you haven't seen it before. And if I'm not mistaken, I think every other team in the AFC North has premiered on Hard Knocks except for the Steelers. I want to say the Ravens have. I know the Browns and I'm pretty sure the Bengals did, but I could be wrong with that. Somebody fact check me. But hey, listen, I'm not opposed to it. I'm going to sit here and try to answer my own question. Is it good or bad for the Steelers? Oh, that's right. The Ravens was on the original. Cool. All right. So, Nathan Manco, you said you're ready to call in. Okay, well, call the phone number on the screen there, 619-924-0818. All I ask is when you get into the queue, just make sure you can hear me on that side of things, not through the stream. Make sure you can hear me through the phone queue. It looks like Mr. Winningham is in the queue. So, Mr. Winningham, if you're also hearing me in the stream, can you confirm that you are hearing me on the phone side? Let's make sure Blog Talk Radio is working for us tonight. So let me go ahead and answer my own question, man, and then I'll get to the calls. I'm torn. It can be a good thing, I'll say, for the fans. Give you guys a more in-depth look at what may go on day to day. I'm pretty sure that the Steelers, just like I'm sure most teams, there's some things they're not going to show. Some things they're not going to, they're not going to allow to be seen and recorded on TV. But I think it will do a good thing for the fans because, again, whatever criticisms you have of players, coaches, head coach, etc., you're going to be able to see some behind the scene things that you are not accustomed to seeing. And I think it might change the way you feel about a player for the good or the bad. The way you feel about the coaching staff, good or bad. The way you feel about Mike Tomlin, good or bad. Depending on who you are. It's going to allow you to see a different side of it. So I think that's always good for the fans. More information. Able to kind of see how certain things go down. I think that's going to be good. Some of the stuff that I've said, and I'm just going to speak on Mike Tomlin's behalf. Some of the criticism I've heard people say of him over the years is, oh, he doesn't talk to his players during the game. Oh, he doesn't know X's and O's and yada, yada, yada. And then you see a lot of these clips come out, whether it's mic'd up and they'll premiere it on the NFL, inside the NFL, is these little moments, that you find out and you're like, oh, okay, I didn't know he did that. And I did, but I'm saying some of you guys need to see certain things. And again, it's going to help you either like or dislike him and the organization, but it's still good information. It's just like that clip that went around, the famous clip with him and Ben Roethlisberger when he was like, hey, if we win the toss, I want the ball. And you remember Ben Roethlisberger was like, they got the number one defense in the world over there. He's like, yeah, I got you. Those little moments, those moments where you see him telling the team, hey, Cut off your eyelids. Don't blink. Little stuff like that. Like I said, those are good things, but you might see some negative things too. But it's good for the fan base to see that information from the coach, the staff, players, etc. Well, let me interrupt myself really quick. Round of applause and a big thank you to Steeler Lee. Appreciate the donation. Steeler Lee says, having Tomlin guarantees 8 to 9 wins. All we need is the quarterback to do is win 3 to 4 more, and that could win a division. I like how you put that. And let me elaborate a little bit for some people that may say, well, how can you say that? So here's the thing. He's saying that basically because of Tomlin's track record. We haven't seen many of the 12-4s or things like that in a while, but because he doesn't have a losing season and he had gone 8-8 a couple times and we've gone 9-7-1 a time or two here, since the new weeks have been added to the league. So that's what he's saying. The 2019 season, you get that team to not have a losing record without Ben Roethlisberger. This past season, when Mason Rudolph comes to save the day, you get that team to the playoffs. That's what he's saying. So all he's saying is, look, he feels like Coach Tomlin is good for an 8-9 season or 8 or 9 wins, something to that nature. We just need quarterback play. We need a quarterback that can go out there and win a game for us as well. So he said, if we can get the quarterback that can win 3 or 4 games on their own, that could be enough for the Steelers to possibly win the division. I will agree with that. We have a very tough schedule, but I think I agree with your overall sentiment. And I would say, honestly, man, that's how I'm looking at it over the next 4 seasons. Because, again, one thing that some of you guys may have missed with Tomlin's 3-year extension, it's a full 3-year extension. So he's through 2027. So he has the 2024 season, 2025, 26 and 27. So there's 4 more years of Mike Tomlin. And I think if you can get that, if you can find the quarterback that can win you 3 or 4 games, just him, a Mahomes type. And again, not play style. I'm just saying a dude like Mahomes will go win a game or 2 when they need it. If you can get a quarterback competent enough to be able to do that, and the Steelers are getting back in that area to where they're winning 12 games, 13 games, perhaps 11, maybe some years, I think then we start to see a change in this drought of playoff wins. I think if the Steelers puts together a season like that, where they 11 wins, 12 wins, 13 wins, even more if possible, big if, then I think we start seeing a change as far as getting back on track with getting to the postseason and winning at least 1 game. And then the rest, is anybody's game from that point. But yeah, man, that's all I got. I think it would be good for the fans with Hard Knocks. I think it could be, let's just say this, could be bad for players, depending on the situation, depending on how tough their skin is. Because, you look back and see yourself on TV, you know what I mean? What does it do for a guy like George Pickens? Hate to pick on George, but, George was kind of up and down last year with his emotions. What does it do for a guy like that that's not mentally mature enough, to deal with adversity or whatever? And I'm not saying Pickens is not. I'm just using that as an example. What would it have done if AB was still there and we were on TV? Or Juju? Would Juju, and again, Juju never was a problem in the locker room, but would it had influenced more TikToks and stuff because he's on TV? So it could be bad for the players depending on who the player is. Everybody's human. The team is struggling. And you seeing that on TV, you got to see it again when you leave the office. Could be bad. But I think largely, man, it's a good thing. I'm going to enjoy watching it. And hopefully we're watching success, right? And we're able to see how that looks, during the week and then see it play out on Sunday. So it'll be cool if we can win along with being on Hard Knocks. Nathan, all you got to do, man, is call the phone number. 619-924-0818. I'm not 100% sure what it's going to ask you to do when you call. I don't know if you might have to press 1, or it may tell you that you're in the queue, but that's all you have to do to call in. The only thing I need you guys to do, Mr. Winningham, again, I'll wait another 2 minutes. I see 804 is in the queue. I think that's Mr. Winningham, but if it's not, whoever is currently in the queue right now, can you confirm here in the chat that you are indeed hearing my voice on the phone? Round of applause to Stillberg, man. Appreciate the donation. Stillberg says, do you think the middle of the defense will improve in the passing game with the new additions, allowing Minkah to play back instead of up front? I actually do. Uh-oh. It said called and they couldn't hear the podcast, can't hear me. Oh my God. All right, hold on, guys. Hold on, Stillberg. What is going on with Blog Talk Radio, man? Let's try something. All right, guys, I'm gonna press buttons on the dial pad and Blog Talk. Y'all let me know if y'all are hearing that. Oh, wait. I think I know what the problem could be. Hold on. Testing. 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Oh, y'all about to give me the rhyme again. I had a flashback right there. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me now? I think I may have just got it to work. So I'm gonna wait for you guys to confirm in the chat. Stillberg, yeah, man, I think it will. I think Patrick Queen has better capabilities to be able to, at least use his speed to monitor the middle of the field a little bit better. I think if we get Cole Holcomb back, Mike Tomlin says something about him possibly being ready for training camp. Landon Roberts, alongside Patrick Queen in the meantime, might be able to do some things. Remember, Landon Roberts, man, showed he was a man last year when all those guys went down, and he did some things. But also having a guy like Deshaun Elliott, and I think we forget that component. Now the Steelers could probably put that 3 safety look back on the field. That's what was more important to me. I know a lot of people were saying, oh, he's going to replace KZ, and I'm going to give him the name KZ again. Because y'all know he's number 23 to me. But again, every new season is a new season. I give you your name back until you give me reason to take that name away. But with having Minkah, KZ, and Elliott, that was what caught my eye when we signed Elliott. It's like, okay, they trying to maintain that 3 safety option. So I think having all of that, that'll do it. I think that'll help out in the middle of the field. Why Diggy said you got to spit some bars. Man, I'm so far removed. I mean, of course, I could write a 16-bar verse in no time, but for real artists, even if you want a hip-hop artist, you'll understand this. You'll hear music artists say, I ain't in that type of shape no more. And what that means is, like, I'm not in that mode to where, like, let's say I wanted to write some, like, a mega verse. It might take me a while to get back to that because I'm not living in that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what good it would do for me to spit bars nowadays. But I am thinking about putting up a couple songs or two, man. Maybe I'll end a show one night with a song. Some of my old songs, so some of you guys can at least hear that. Maybe I'll do that. Just for those who are interested, so you can kind of hear what I was doing back. I'll say circa 08-ish, 09, 08 was kind of like my last run. All right, everybody can hear me now, so let's do it. Let's do it. Nathan, again, man, just call the number. Look on the screen. I don't know if you're watching the stream, but look at the bottom of the screen there, the bottom of my face. Let me see if I can point to it. Right there. Right there. Phone number. Area code 619-924-0818. All you have to do is call. That's it. But all right, we got a couple calls in the queue. Let me turn up my speakers. Looks like the first one in the queue is area code 804. Hopefully this is going to work. Let's do it. 803. 803. What you got for us?
Good evening. I can't really hear the sound on the phone I was listening at from my TV, but tell everybody they're listening for Unmuted. I'm very excited for this season. There are some things that I hope that we can address as of right now, but I think a lot of the things, some of the things like receiver won't be addressed until the NFL trade deadline. You won't see any moves as of yet. But as far as the future goes with the Steelers, I think a lot of the money that we have to use, which is now used on defense, will have to eventually move to the offense if we're going to make the next step that we're looking to make. I feel the Hard Knocks is focusing on the division is exciting things for it as a Steelers fan, because as a Steelers fan, we've all known our team not to be, we've always been kind of behind the scenes. You very seldom have ever gotten to hear much what was going on behind those locker room doors until the end of Big Ben's career. Well, I hope everybody have a great week, and thank you for giving us this time.
Absolutely, Mr. Winningham. Appreciate you calling like always. Now, Mr. Winningham said he couldn't hear me. Hold on, guys. I'm going to see. Let me make sure. Let's try this again. I don't know why it keeps defaulting back to the monitor. Here we go. Y'all should be able to hear me now. I don't know why it keeps defaulting back to, for some reason, my monitor. It is very strange, man. It keeps doing it. I don't know why. This is weird. Hold on, man. Hold on. 1 2 1 2. I know y'all can hear me now, but hold on. Give me a second. I'm going to show y'all literally what it's doing. If it keeps doing it, I'm going to capture it and show it to y'all in real time. For some reason, Blog Talk keeps grabbing the wrong microphone. There it is again. I don't get it. All right, so what I'm going to do while it's working, I'm going to grab the next caller, right? And then I'll come back and manually change it again to get you back in. So while you can hear me, next up, area code 412. What you got for us?
Sim.
Yes, sir.
Sim.
Yep. Can you hear me? Hello. Can you hear me now? Hello.
Yes, that's me.
$412. I don't know what just happened there. I'm going to move on to 951 again. 951, you probably can hear me at the moment. So I'm going to bring you in while you can hear me. 951, what you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Sim? Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Hey, just real quick, man, I just wanted to say regarding the offense, man, I don't think I've ever been so excited about watching the Steelers offense ever since they had, the whole crew of Le'Veon Bell, AB, Martavis Bryant, all those cats, specifically with Arthur Smith. You can tell that he's picking up some of his old guys that know his system. I know they don't really have that second receiver that's, playmaking superstar. Either they may not get him or they may not get him yet. But I'm curious to see how he's going to design this offense, how he's going to create plays for guys. Because, I mean, they don't have superstars, but they got guys like Patterson, and, you know, you got your tandem running backs with Jalen Warren, Najee. Don't forget about Firemouth. Maybe he can get something out of Washington, right? And, you know, with the receivers, man, obviously, other than George Pickens, they got some speed in Quez and Scotty and Calvin. So I'm just curious to see, I'm excited to see what he's going to scheme up. The only question I have, maybe concern I have right now, is I understand that the only image that we have of what this offense could be is by us going back and looking at Arthur Smith's offense with Atlanta and Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but if you go on YouTube, there's a couple videos from about 4 or 5 months ago of Arthur Smith breaking down his own offense, and he's showing clips of Tennessee and Atlanta. The only concern I have, maybe it's not a concern, but a question mark, is we saw last year what teams would do. They're going to take away GP, and they're going to say, okay, now you're forced with who? You know, in the passing game, who are you going to throw to? I would like to think the Steelers' run game will be even more beastier this year with the acquisitions of the offensive linemen they got. But I think with this tough schedule, when they play those tough teams, I think they're going to play some teams that may stop the run. So I just want to see what that looks like. Take GP away, force Russell or whoever's back there to throw to whoever can make a play. And that's all I got, man. Thanks.
Man, thanks for the call. I really, really, really appreciate it. I know you guys could hear me temporarily. And you're right, man. I'm very interested to see and hear, you know, I say hear because we'll get to hear what type of plays they plan to run. But I'm very interested in seeing, man, what they have on the table, what the plans are, how they're going to go about it, and all of that, man. It's because, like you said, you know, I'm hoping it's not going to be the Tennessee style where, you know, like you said, teams can kind of key on George Pickens, and then we'll just see if a Roman Wilson or Van Jefferson or Calvin Austin or whoever else could be the second complement. Or are we planning to use the one stud at receiver and complementary guys, and then we use tight ends more, you know, more 12 personnel, 13 personnel, things like that. So it is going to be very interesting to see how that plays out, man. So I'm right there with you. I'm glad you're able to call in. I think, guys, hold on. I may have just saw what the problem is. Let me try something really quick. Let me try something really quick and see if this is going to work before I get to the next call. All right. So, good people of... Hold on, guys. Give me 2 more seconds. I think I fixed it. But I got to try one more thing, and I promise we're going to keep it moving. But y'all know me, man. We family, man. We family. I'll let y'all see when things is bad and everything, you know? Let y'all see all of this play out in real time, man. No shame in mine. No shame in mine. Like I said, this is like being on TV. All right, so hold on. Think I might have gotten it worked out. Let me get back to Blog Talk. Let's see. Let's see. All right, so I think right now, 412, you probably can hear me again. Hopefully. Let's see. Area code 412. 412, are you able to hear me? Hello. Hello, 412, can you hear me? 412. Nope, still don't seem to be.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sim.
We can hear you. We can hear you for sure.
Okay. Sim. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sim.
Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you. I just can't hear you regularly because, I mean, you can't hear me because the microphone is acting up in Blog Talk. But I can hear you.
Okay, Sim. question for you. Okay. Sim, it's telling me and okay.
Hello.
Okay. Sim, in 2027, it's telling me who is our replacement as our head coach.
Wait,
It's telling me.
can you say that again?
Okay. It's telling me in 2027 and who is our next head coach.
All right, thanks 412. I couldn't hear you clear. Let me check with everybody else in the chat. Could y'all hear him good? I think I heard him say who is our next head coach. Well, was it me or could y'all hear him good? Yeah, it was really choppy. All I heard him say is he said Tomlin is our head coach or who is our head coach. So 412, I don't know who the next coach would be, to be honest with you, 4 years removed from that. If you said Mike Tomlin is our head coach, then I'm not sure, what you were referencing there. So I apologize that I couldn't quite hear you. It sounded like it was kind of muffled on your end. Hopefully you can hear me, but I do apologize for that, man, that we couldn't have a cleaner interaction there. Let me show y'all really quick what's going on, man. This is what I want y'all to see because I like showing y'all real-time events. Let me show you something. Hold on, give me a second. I want y'all to see what's going on. All right, here we go. So, watch this. Oops, hold on. The wrong thing there. Hold on. Before we move to the next caller. It's not showing it. Let me see it. Is it going to show y'all the settings? Hold on. I want y'all to see this because I know I'm not tripping. Let me see, is it going to show you? So look, right now, the microphone is working, right? But every time I click back on it, and then it changes it. See how now it's not showing any audio? So look, I'm going to change it back. Y'all see this, right? So now it's working, temporarily working. And this is the time where some of you guys are able to hear me on the phone. I look back, boom, it's out again. You see? I don't understand what's happening there. Y'all can hear me in the stream, but I don't understand why Blog Talk is not recognizing my microphone. Let's see. Continue allowing always. Yeah, I'm trying to get it to work and it's just not working. Hold on, guys. We're going to try to get a solution here. Hold on. So I went into the browser and changed the mic. Let's see if that is going to fix it. All right. Oh. Now it's echoing. Yikes. Hold on. All right, so now we got an echo. So let's try this. Let's try this. Hold on, guys. I love y'all, man, because y'all hanging there with me, man. I think I may be able to get it fixed right now. Hold on. Let's try this one last thing. And then we're going to see. All right. So it's working now. Let's see if it still echoes. It is still echoing. Now, are you guys hearing the echo? That's the question. Y'all let me know if y'all hear an echo. In the meantime, what I'm gonna do is bring on the next caller because the caller should be able to hear me. Y'all are hearing the echo. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't like this. All right, man. Hold on. We're gonna get this to work. Hold on, guys. Testing. Echo. Testing. I don't get it. I really don't understand it. I don't know, guys. I do apologize. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn this down. Hopefully it's not echoing. Good on the phone, echo on YouTube. Hopefully it's not echoing now. If it is, let's bear with it for a second and while I try to fix it. But y'all are seeing, now it's working, right? Because I changed the settings, and now it's keeping the microphone, but now it's echoing. I don't know. But all right, man, let's go to the phone queue, man. That's area code. I believe we're at 651. 651, what you got for us?
What's up with you, Sam? Listening in the phone, I don't hear echo, so you good on this side. But it's just Blog Talk hating on you. That's all. But anyway, I feel like one thing people aren't looking at is how well we ran the ball towards the end of the year. And I think part of this is because we had two 230-pound plus running backs that were fresh. And I think that's the key. Even more than a number 2 wide receiver is finding or making sure that those linemen block well this year early. These young guys, they get out and they can move people. Man, we're going to be a problem at the end of the year. Even with the AFC North having the whole schedule packed up back-to-back, those guys are going to be tired. Not a lot of them have two-back systems other than Baltimore. So I feel like it can also be an advantage for us with those big guys. And then I think Calvin Austin, when you look at some clips from last year of how much he was open and they just missed him, imagine you go ahead and double GP, and you got to stop those running backs. And the best part about our offense is we're going to be running some of the same sets over and over again, same pre-snap motion. What that does is the defense is going to freeze for a second. Now, imagine being a middle linebacker and you freeze for 1 second, now 240-pound running backs in your lap before you can move. That's going to be a problem for people. So I'm not too worried about it. But thanks for the call.
Thank you for the call. Thank you. Hopefully I'm not echoing anymore. There it is. But I think it's only echoing temporarily. So if you guys could tell me right now if it's echoing, I'm going to reply to what 651 said. Let me turn him off here. Okay, he disconnected. Yeah, man, listen. The two-back set, I'm very curious to see, man, if Arthur Smith is going to run it, number one, like a lot on our end. And like you said, Baltimore is really one of the only teams, I think it may be another team or two that really runs it like that. And we see how potent it is. We see how potent it is in Baltimore. When they are in that two-back set and having Lamar Jackson back there, it's something you need to be concerned with. I would say the same thing with Justin Fields. That's why I said, man, there's got to be a package with Justin Fields included, even if he's not the starter. Trot him out there with Najee, Warren, or Najee and Patterson, or a formation with all three of them, like a full house type of set. Yeah, we could be very potent, man, and it's going to be very interesting to see what their plans are. Really interesting to see what the plans are in the backfield. So I am looking forward to it as well, man. I think there's a new energy around the team, just having different infusions of, different style quarterbacks. And what I mean by that is neither one of these guys will be your traditional Ben Roethlisberger, if you will, but also I think they're going to do something different than even what we were doing with Kenny Pickett. So, and also, man, having Arthur Smith, and the more I listen to this guy talk, I really like him, man. And like somebody said, one of the previous callers, I am going to check out the breakdown of his offense and just kind of get an idea of what he ran in Atlanta. Maybe compare that somewhat to what we all saw in Tennessee, and see if we can get a gauge as to what he may try to do in Pittsburgh. So that should be great. Let me know again, guys. Are y'all still hearing the echo on the YouTube side? I'm gonna grab the next caller. Hopefully the caller can hear me. Area code 302. What you got for us? Hello, 302. I don't think he can hear me. Hold on.
Hey, Sim, I don't know if you can hear me, but in case you can, I'm going to fire off 2 quick questions for you since we got some technical issues. Firstly, with the drafting of Roman Wilson and the style of receiver that he is, does that say more about our receiver room as a whole, or does that say more about Calvin Austin III's development or lack thereof? And secondly, who do you think hits harder, Elandon Roberts, Lawrence Timmons, or Vince Williams? Thank you for the call.
Man, thanks for the call. There's the echo. Hold on, guys. Let me get it out of here. Hold on. All right, there we go. Shouldn't be echoing at this very moment on YouTube. Let's talk about the Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson. I don't necessarily look at the pick of Roman Wilson an indictment on Calvin Austin. Roman Wilson, I would believe that the Steelers are viewing him more like a slot, more natural slot, who is capable of playing on the outside. He kind of did it in college. I do believe Roman Wilson is just the talent where he was at, take that pick where you took him, extreme value. And, I don't think it's a direct reflection of Calvin Austin because, again, Calvin Austin, he hasn't had an opportunity to really be a guy on the outside primarily because even last year, outside of injury, there was George Pickens and Deontay Johnson. And Calvin Austin played outside a little bit, and I know sometimes we move George inside, but I don't think it's a direct correlation or competition with those two guys. I think Roman Wilson brings a different style, even his blocking ability and things like that. As far as who hits the hardest, wow. See, I don't want to get caught with recency bias. I'm not going to say Elandon Roberts because Elandon Roberts reminds me of Vince Williams. So I'm really looking at Vince Williams and Lawrence Timmons because those were the 3 that you said, right? Vince Williams, Lawrence Timmons, and Elandon Roberts. Now, you got to remember, some of you guys may or may not remember this. I am a Knowles fan, so you know how far back I go with Lawrence Timmons. From top to bottom, I might have to say Timmons. I'm just recanting, reliving a lot of those Lawrence Timmons moments, and he did it not just being in the middle of the field, if you will. However, I definitely agree with what Sippy Boy said here, and this could be the same. You could say this about Roberts and Vince Williams. I saw somebody else say in a phone booth, or like Sippy Boy is saying, man, when they shoot the gap, Vince Williams and Landon Roberts bring the heat. But again, I'm also looking at, as my boy Tony would say, who really be bussing, right? And I'm talking on the ball carrier, not just blowing up the gap, and taking on opposing, pulling offensive linemen, but the moments that I've seen these fellas like tackle the ball carrier, I might have to say Timmons, man, overall, because again, guys, if you guys really remember Lawrence Timmons, and again, I always have to say that because I understand some people watching this show could be 18, 20 years old, 21, and you might not have such a fond memory of a Lawrence Timmons. But I might have to say Lawrence Timmons, out of all of those guys, largely, and I'm talking about overall, just hitting the ball carrier. Absolutely, Vince Williams and Landon Roberts are one and the same to me as far as shooting the gap. I didn't even know Landon Roberts had all that in him. We saw Vince Williams do that at a more, a higher clip, obviously, because he was with us longer. But I could put those two guys kind of in the same bucket. But yeah, I think Lemons, Timmons might be the guy out of those three. Just my opinion. Tim said pause. But that's all I got, man. I don't have anything else. I don't know why Blog Talk Radio is acting foolish. I'm gonna have to get in the studio and figure out the settings, man. But outside of that, I think that's gonna do it. Let's read a few comments, man, before we get out of here. I'm just glad that the phone queue at least worked, and you guys are at least hearing me properly. We just had a little bump in the road there. But what do y'all got in the comments, man? Kenyon says Kendrell was the Grant Hill of the Steelers. A lot of what ifs. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Can't disagree with that. I definitely understand where Kenyon is coming from on that one. I know what he means by that. What else? Before the injuries, he says Kendrell would have been on track to be mentioned with LeVar Kirkland and James Ferrier. Yeah. Walter Worthy says, I heard the stories about Bell on the bus, but I've seen enough in games. None of these cats are even close. Okay. Can't argue that. Mark Cunningham says, I love Vince also. Made the most of what he had. Late round pick. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Both him and Lawrence Timmons, for that matter, given where they came from. Well, and Vince Williams even more. He literally worked himself into being what he was. And, man, what a ball of energy. And I will say, Landon Roberts reminded me so much of him in terms of the role he was playing, man, as, blowing things up, if you will. What else y'all got? Nathan says, George Pickens needs to get targeted more, and we need to use Calvin Austin more. Can agree with that. And I don't think you'll see an issue with that this particular season. I think George Pickens will be targeted quite much. Oh, man. Jason Worlds absolutely was a what if, because it seemed like he was just starting to hit that stride. Yeah, he sure was. Timmons was Tomlin's first ever pick, 2007. Yep. Absolutely correct. The infamous Tim says, anybody having extreme negative or positive takes from training camp are completely delusional. It's football in shorts. Unless it's mental, it's not an issue till training camp. Yeah, and I think what you meant was mini camp in the first part of your sentence, but I got what you're saying. You're right. The mini camps, the OTAs, it's football in shorts. Training camp is when the metal hits the road, as they say, and they say that the Steelers training camp is one of the more physical in the league. That's when we find out who's who. That's when we're going to hear stories. I'm assuming we're going to hear some, I'm sure of it. we're going to hear some stories about Peyton Wilson. I think we're going to hear some stories about Peyton Wilson out of training camp. He seems like one of them dudes that, I'll say, shout outs to Alex Kazor, that goes out there all the time from Steelers Depot. We're going to be hearing about him. I do believe that. We'll be hearing about that. Let's see what else y'all got. We are going to use Peyton Willis and Patrick Queen on the field. We'll see. I think just because of Willis's speed, Wilson. I keep calling him Willis. Speaking of which, I don't know why I want to call him Willis. I guess because Patrick Willis and, the names kind of blur. That was a beast too, won't he? But yeah, I think we will see Peyton Wilson on the field some. It's still early, but I think the Steelers may be looking to utilize his speed and, his sideline to sideline capability in certain situations, maybe put a guy like that. I'll have to study to see how good he is or isn't in pass coverage, but maybe you throw him out there sometimes in nickel, him and Queen together, where you're expecting maybe against 11 personnel, maybe he's a little more apt to cover more than maybe a Cole Holcomb, but Cole Holcomb was hitting his stride, man, before he got hurt. And y'all know how much I like Cole Holcomb, and that's coming from his days in Washington. I thought Cole Holcomb was really good when he was with Washington. And, with us, he started to show itself until he got injured. What else y'all got, man? Give me one or two more before we get out of here. Sippy Boy says, I also see Sean Spence. That knee really ended his career, even though he stayed in the league a bit. Yeah. Yeah, I like Sean Spence, man. I like Sean Spence. I liked his college career. I felt like Sean Spence did play bigger than he was, and literally from a physical stature standpoint, but I don't think he would have. I really don't think he would have thrived in the Steeler system, and particularly in the AFC North, where it was ground and pound. I just don't think that Spence would have been able to hold up. Just my opinion. He never really showed me anything that gave me great confidence, even though I liked Sean Spence, even while with the Steelers. I was rooting for him, but there was never a turning moment where I felt like, yeah, this is the guy. So, yeah, he definitely couldn't really play in the box. Yeah, he could not play in that box. And that's crazy to say about an inside linebacker. Was definitely better in space and maybe perhaps in coverage, but defending the run game, that just wasn't a strong suit. Let me get maybe one more from someone I didn't read yet, and if not, but I hope you guys enjoyed the show, man. I enjoyed bringing it to you guys. Right, Kenya? Man, that was disappointing. That's all I would say. I didn't have a dog in the race in terms of the finals, but I always want to see in basketball, man, that's my favorite time, obviously, like, Captain Obvious statement. My favorite time of the basketball season is the playoffs, and I like seeing good playoff matchups, like good series. I like seeing good series. I like to see series go at least 6 games, and because that way at least both teams got off. There were at least 2 opportunities that both teams did something, because at some point it was 2-2, or it was a game 4 or game 5. It might have been 3-2, and then but at least at least 2 games for each team. They got them a dub. So a 6-game series is usually a good series. I hate seeing blowouts. I hate seeing 4-1s and teams going up 3-0, especially in the finals. Like, come on, man. But again, and again, I y'all a lot of times it turns into, and I always blame Antoine for it. It's always basketball talk in the chat, and I try to stay away from it because again, not everybody, believe it or not, some people who are here watching only want to hear about football. But yeah, it was yeah. And defensively, man, Luka, come on, buddy. That's all I'm gonna say. Let me see. Yeah, Leonard Green. Let me read Leonard Green and we'll get out of here. He says, didn't Spence play for the Titans for a year too? I believe he did. I believe he did, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think he went on to play with the Titans. And that may have been his last stop. Yep. But hey, guys, that's going to do it for me tonight, man. Because of you guys, we got a nice lengthy show out. An hour and 10 minutes, so that's pretty good. But hey, before you go, I'm going to remind you, listen, if you're hanging around, you hear this long, and you like what you saw in the video, I just don't understand why you wouldn't hit the like button. It don't make no sense to me to not do that. Also, subscribe to the channel. Oops. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications. And there you have it. Those are the 3 simple things I ask of you guys. Subscribe, notifications, very least, hit the like button. Outside of that, man, you guys know the routine. I'm always going to say, hey, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless. Good night. And for those of you like me who are fortunate to have Juneteenth off, enjoy your day off. Embrace the day for those that it apply to. And yeah, God bless, man. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.